Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning December 21st, 2015. I'm going to be using the Blue Angel Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. And then, of course, the Secret Language of Color Oracle deck by Inna Segal, like we always do. And if you would like to get a personal reading with me, go to my website, angelsouls444.com. The services page, please read the instructions and how the reading will go and all that good stuff, because again, there are a lot of misconceptions. If you're not really sure what an angel reading, especially with me, will entail, again, refer to my website, but also I have a video called how to find the right medium. So check that out on my YouTube channel. If you're going to support me on Patreon, I'll leave that information down below, but I will let you know also that because I'm going to be traveling for the holidays, I'm going to be recording a few of these readings ahead of time and then having them scheduled for release when the time is appropriate. So if you don't see your name in the thank you list at the end, it's not that I didn't get it or I didn't see it. Your thank you is definitely coming. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Let's see what's going on here. I'm in a different chair. You can't see it, but it's totally like, it just reminds me of like Santa Claus. I don't know why. It's like, I don't know, it's like black and it's got like the metal studs going down, and then I have this like little red pillow and everything. I don't know. I don't know why it makes me think that, but it does. All right, so let's get into it here. Oh, if I can get the cards out. maybe not. Let's see what's going on. And I would like for everybody to just tell the exercise. Okay, let's stop. All right, so everybody, I say this in personal readings as well. It's important to breathe in, hold the breath for about 4 heartbeats. I want you in touch with your own rhythm of your body, right? And then let it out for a count of 4 or 7, whatever feels right for you. And as you do this, this opens up your energy, all right? You might also want to ask your angel to talk to my angels. So if we're going to be doing these weeklies, yes, they're general readings, but every once in a while you'll notice like I'll pop in there and I'll say, okay, someone needed to hear this, this, and this. That's because someone's very open and the angels are communicating with one another and they're coming through me to you. So that's another way that we can kind of do these readings, I suppose. But the other exercise they wanted me to talk about was imagining plugging into divine light. So however you want to do that, do it right now. Imagine that white light coming down and flowing through you, okay? And once we do that, then everybody who's watching is going to be nice and open, and we can get a really great message. Well, I just heard chaos. So life will be chaotic, right? And the thing that we don't want to do as humans, we don't want to keep overcorrecting on things, right? So they're saying chaos right now, but then if I give that to you guys, some of you out there might be trying so hard to make sure you're not in the chaos that you end up, I don't know, being like Pollyanna and pretending like everything is okay when it's not. You always need to be real. But this is saying, the message is saying to plug back into your power and remember that power. So if things are going awry on the surface level of your life, some of us, will be visiting family and whatever, traveling, trying to buy gifts, things like that. Remember your power. Remember what is important, okay? Can I go back to the cards now? Who is that? I got Jeremiah has been hanging around for a lot of people. Okay, I'll get to that here in a second. I want to get all the cards going. And I just heard Metatron too. So that has everything to do with like life review. And Metatron is the book of life, the Akashic records, indigo, all those kinds of things. The sixth dimension, sacred geometry, all kind of good stuff for Metatron. All right. Okay, there are words on these cards, and sometimes I don't know what they are, but they have a message on each card anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe it'll mean something to you. Okay, so excuse me while I dip down. All right, put this down too. Can't hold everything, right? All right, so the first card we have that made me smile was the Eternal Star Guidance. So we were just saying, we want to tap back into your power. We got to get better at this. This isn't about necessarily a week-to-week kind of thing anymore. It's like each week they're going to trust us with more and more information. And to this end, what we need to focus on is your inner guidance. Yeah, everyone's trying too hard, being a little sophomoric about their spirituality. And yes, they're saying, you're doing great work, you know a lot of things, but there's overexerting yourselves in some way. Let me see if I get any more on that, because that's kind of, I know what they're saying. Again, it's that whole overcorrecting thing for us humans, right? But let's see if, okay. So taking guidance and going, no, it's in my inner guidance, so it must be so, and I'm going to go for it. And then you end up kind of pushing certain things in your life. Ease up on that. Or, you know, using your spirituality to argue with others. It isn't like that. It's like this because that's how it's been done for centuries. No, we've been talking for a very long time now that we are completely different creatures. So it's time to get into that new wave of guidance, that new kind of, can you guys give it to me again? New way of taking information in, new way of processing it, and a new way of sort of executing it and putting it out there into your life. This can be, if you want to work with Michael, Michael just kind of popped in here. If you want to get clarity on something, now's the time to do it. And I feel like this week especially, and I'm kind of curious to see what happens for the other, when we tune in for the other weeks as well. This is a big time of letting go. A big time of letting go. All right. So you cannot take the old stuff into 2016. I mean, you could, but it's not recommended. Okay. So some of you out there, here you go. I feel it right now. I feel someone's like, please give me clarity on this situation. And now Michael has come in. Now we're talking about it. These moments of clarity can only come when you quiet your mind. And that doesn't mean quiet your mind in meditation. I mean, that's a tool, and that's a way of doing it. But what we're talking about is stop giving into the story. That's what they just said. Stop giving into the story. Stop giving into your own fabricated story. I am this, I am that. Not necessarily. Or watch for, yes, they're saying watch for us to put things in front of you that just make sense. I told you guys they prepped me for these messages. That just happened to me yesterday, where there's a situation for me that's been going on for about 8 years. Still have not been able to get any clarity on it. And then something got put in front of me. And I looked at it and it was just like, I knew it was for me, number one. And two, it made so much sense. It just resonated and I went, okay. And just that quickly I was able to go, and I was actually able to send love towards that situation. So that is the kind of thing that, sorry, I'm a little stuffy. That is the kind of thing that you can do this week. Getting that clarity and asking the angels to come in and put something in front of you. That don't look for a big explanation. It doesn't work like that. The angels don't work like we do, right? So you go and you confront somebody and be like, I need an explanation for this. I want to know what happened here. They're more like they're going to really give you something to help you figure it out for yourself. Make sense? Okay. So the next card we had, let's see if I can keep these straight. Lapis Excelsis, perspective. I'm going to focus on that part, perspective. And I'm picking up on the reds in this card, which is odd because I have a red sweater on. So red, normally I would say root chakra, something like that, but this feels like passion. In some people out there, you're going to be getting overly passionate about your opinion, overly passionate about what you need to be doing. This isn't a time to fight against the system, right? Because they're saying the second you're fighting against something, it already has control over you. Because it's invoking you to action or something. I don't know. That's how you know it's not coming from me, because I don't even really understand what that means. But I mean, I totally get it to some extent. But but we still have to live in this world. So can you guys be a little clearer about that? What makes you think you must fight? Can't hold this card. What makes you think you must fight is what they're saying. And a lot of times, okay, thank you. A lot of fights are spurred because we don't feel safe, because we feel like someone's going to get one over on us. And it's time to look at it from a different angle. That's that perspective thing, right? And honestly, that thing I was just telling you about, the example I gave you, what was put in front of me to give me clarity, again, it wasn't like an overt, here are the answers to every question you've ever had. It was more something that I had to look at within myself, which then in turn sparked the understanding, which then in turn, changed my perspective, and then I was able to, let it go and heal from it, or start to heal from it. So lean on that this week. Now, this message may not make a lot of sense to some people out there because you're just not there yet. You're just not there yet, and that's okay. Anytime you get a message and you're like, I don't get it, just don't dismiss anything that's being said. Even if you have to write it down. I say this in personal readings as well. Even if you have to write it down, do so, put the date, and let it go. And that's part of what they're saying. That's part of what makes people so defensive. With messages, if they don't understand it, they think that it means something about them, and it doesn't. It's okay. It's all right. You could even write it down, they're saying, and ask them to help you one-on-one on your own time. Okay? So there's that. This is pretty. Ooh, I like it. The Orient Gate service. So this is like, don't get a big head this week, guys. This is about kind of keeping your head down and being quiet and doing some nice introspection, that kind of thing, without pushing too hard, without trying too hard. But look how pretty that is. I just love it. And this can open up portals of information for you that, again, it's, don't get too wound up about the things that are happening on the surface level of your life. You get wound up in that. Hold on. Always have your touchstone of wisdom. Always have your touchstone of wisdom is what they just said. So even if you are, going to be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for all these gifts? Or, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for my bills? Or, oh my gosh, why is this person not talking to me? Or, oh my gosh, why is Michelle doing this annoying message out there? Just kidding. I hope. You're getting all wound up in that. You need to have your place where you can just kind of separate, it's almost like thinking of it as a gate to the other room where the wisdom is, and you kind of get rejuvenated in that place. And then you come back with a different perspective, following your own guidance, and you come back in knowing what's important. And when you know what's important, that's how you are of service. Right? So many of us are so concerned, me too, about our life's path and making sure that we're doing all the right things. Well, you can be of service just by showing up in the world and being you. You already did part of it right there. The other way to be of service is to be harmless. So don't be cruel to people, right? And this is something I have to learn as well. I've had a rough couple of weeks where like a lot of abusive energy was coming my way. And, I'm your Scorpio girl sitting here, and I was kind of like, what? Let me tell you something, and I don't know. It was just, that's something that didn't make me feel good. And you know what? It didn't win any fights. It did no good. I should have gone into that other room. It says, the Orient Gate or something like that. Going into the thought of service and just kind of being like, okay, I'm going to separate myself from this drama that someone is trying to create in my life. I'm going to go get into my wisdom. All right. And I'm going to come back renewed and ready to go. Maybe that was a better way to do it. So this is about not following the old course of action, because the old course of action often gets us riled. It gets us all worked up. It makes it so we have to win. We have to be right. If we ain't right, then, oh my gosh, my world's falling down. So focus on what's important, which is you just being you. Not the character that you made up to come here and again to create the drama, but the authentic you, the soul level you, coming back into that. So look at how they're trying to really anchor us and really pull us back down into our divine light. Pay attention to that, because things could be rattling and rolling this week. Nothing surprises me anymore. So, whatever. But at least they're giving us some advice on how to get back into that space where we have our own inner power, again, with the guidance. The final card we have before we get on, that's why. Dang. Okay, well, hate to report this. Last card we have before we go on to the color card, Mercurius, volatility. All right. So there it is. Let me tune in. Let's see what they're saying. We bring this on ourselves. We invite it in. Okay, thank you. Saying you guys poke each other with your energy. You know, sometimes people are passive aggressive. Other times, you know, that they're saying misplaced anger. There's misplaced anger. So someone's freaking out on someone else, but really they're upset about something within them. There could be worldly volatility, which again, does that shock anybody? It's like a thing now. It's what we're trying to rise above and trying to work through. And that's when we're talking about, like, that's why it's so important for you to be you, to be in your light. And when I say light, I'm not trying to be like, you know, goofy and just give you a catchphrase or, you know, a catchword. But it's really important to not get involved with these kinds of things. This does not mean denial. It does not mean that. It does not mean that you can't support someone, right? If someone's having a very human experience, they're allowed to have that. I mean, it's, you know, they would be fake to pretend like it's not there, right? So if someone's having that, sending them love, sending them support, you know, maybe even saying, hey, I've been there, if you have, you know, and you can share your experience as well, you can help each other get through it. But the volatility that is coming up, this is speaking more to every single person who's watching this. If you're going out there and yeah, they just gave me that phrase, might makes right. So a lot of people out there are going to be doing that. Maybe, you know, you've wronged me for years and years and years. Now I'm going to confront you. When really, you know, there might be some accountability you need to take. You know, there's two sides to every story. Do you know what I mean? And even if the other person did awful things, I've had that happen to me. I've had people do awful things, but I really had to, again, that was part of that clarity that came up. I had to look at myself and go, well, okay, this doesn't make what they did right, but here's what I did in that situation. Here was my contribution to this drama point, and that was I judged. I judged harshly. And then, you know, blamed in my heart, not outwardly, but in my heart for years had blamed this person. Well, that's a negative emotion, isn't it? Again, not to be denied, but acknowledgement. Thank you. You could have come in a little sooner for that. Acknowledgement. Accountability. You are not perfect. You are not a victim. Okay? So if these things start resurfacing or coming up to the surface for you this week, if there is volatility, again, lean on your inner guidance, change your perspective as much as you can, all right? And remember service. You're here just to be you. All right. So there's that part of it. Let's get on to the color card. Maybe there's something a little more uplifting about that. They're chattering a little bit more, but it sounds like far off voices, so I'm not sure why that's happening. But I'm always, you know, I trust that if it's something I need to hear to pass along to you, it will happen. I'm also hearing hostilities. They can't tell you what people are going to do, because we don't even know what the heck we're going to do from one moment to the next. But there is an energy rising. It might be around the 25th on Christmas Day. Something will make our hearts ache. Now, for some of you, this might be a joyous reunion, you know, or getting to see your family, and maybe you haven't seen them in a while. For some of you, there's a new baby coming on Christmas Day. So just be ready. All right. Maybe open your presents very early that day. But what this feels like, it feels like there are the people who would be celebrating that day and someone who's mad about people celebrating that day. And I'm going to leave it at that. Again, we are not here to invoke fear in anybody, because you start worry and don't, you know, we're not saying it so that you worry. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. That pulls it into fruition. Okay? But we bring it up to be prepared. And remember what it said, service. So when we're saying like, okay, well, there's a possibility of this energy being around this week, we need to step up. Okay? That's where the prayers come in. That's where we are meditating upon world peace. But they're even saying, even if you're just meditating to manifest love, or you're meditating to manifest a career opportunity or something like that, that's okay, because you're still plugged into spirit. You're still plugging into the divine, which is that activity that we gave you at the beginning here. So you're still plugging in, and you're still tapping into your light. So that will be effective enough to ripple out. So just remember that. Okay. Card is, drum roll please, gold. I'm not even going to read it yet, because let me tell you. So we have this whole message that is saying, there could be some hostilities, there could be some volatility in the world, or even on an individual level. But gold is a very spiritual color. It's the color of the angels. Okay, now each angel has their own color vibration, I suppose. But collectively, golden light, very spiritual, very protective. And it's a swirly kind, look at the image on here. It's like this swirly, almost vortex. And wasn't I just saying, go into the other room, almost go down that that tunnel into your wisdom? And that's kind of what this reminds me of. So the card says, gold, attract abundance. So the number is 21. So to that end, yeah, okay, fine. You're going to attract abundance. And if that's what you need right now, go right ahead. But to me, the gold is all about being in that shielded state. Again, not out of fear. Don't do it out of fear. But shielding, maybe because you've had enough. Right? Because when you do that, when you've kind of had enough, what happens? You step into power. And you're going, you know what? Y'all can fight over there. Y'all can be mad because we don't believe the way you do. You can do this, you can do that because you want to be right. I'm going to surround myself in golden light. I'm going to be me. I'm going to keep on my path. I'm going to pray. And I'm going to make sure that I stay in a heightened state. And I'm not going to preach to anybody. I'm not going to say that you have to do it the way that I do it. I'm just going to do what feels right for me. Oh, I got some applause. I think I did, or maybe that was my imagination, but I don't know if it was somebody out there who was right on, or I don't know what just happened. That's really weird. You can make fun of me for it. It's okay. As long as we're all having a good laugh about it, because laughter is very important for this whole thing too. So that's another point before we close out here. Make sure you're having fun. Make sure that whatever is happening around you, okay, have gratitude. Even if you're in a room with somebody, you got, drunk Uncle Bob, who comes in every year doing his thing, whatever you celebrate around this time of year, and you might be like, oh God, and he gets belligerent and all this stuff. You might then just look across the room, maybe at a sister or a brother who you've been connected to obviously since you were kids, and just be like, man, I'm so lucky I don't have to go through this alone. God bless you, Uncle Bob. Hopefully you can turn this around, or hopefully you're happy, or you can find happiness, or whatever it is. But in any kind of moment, you can always find some bit of gratitude. All right? So look for that this week as well. There it is. I will be going on to record a couple of other videos, so you shall see me in the same shirt. Hopefully that will not confuse you. And, have a good week. Again, happy holidays. And I'm sending you guys so much love. Take care.